Coming straight from school?
Okay, I'll call the, can you hear me?
Maybe I don't.
How they get on Anyhow, I'll call the McCracken City Commission regular business meeting for April 24th of 2023, order at 6:32 p.m. Start with roll call. House McGaffey, Mayor.
Commissioner, sorry.
Joe Chipman, Commissioner.
Nicole Fehrenbach, City Clerk.
Shane Fernball, City Superintendent.
And our city treasurer is absent. Correct.
Yes. She might forgot.
First, I'm going to make First, we're going to have the discussion of entering upon private property. So the commissioners, I've been informed by several community members that the Pride Committee or Beautification Committee had gone on to private properties and did not have permission at the time and were sorting and unloading things. And I just wanted to be known that as to the last meeting we had made it very clear that there's steps that need to be taken in order for them to be able to get on those properties.
If they go on somebody's property, how's it city business?
It's not.
I can get into that.
Pride either.
I can get into that. There'll be no public comments from the floor. It is city business because they are a subcommittee to the city, which brings me to
Who's a subcommittee to the city?
the McCracken Beautification.
No, they're not.
There is an ordinance right here, Joe, that says they are a subcommittee to the city.
They're not Pride anymore. They're a separate organization now. It's called Beautification.
That's what it is right here, McCracken Beautification.
When was that created?
This was an ordinance created in 2013. Funds are still the same, fundraising is still the same,
Is that
it's
right?
all legal.
Yeah, we have a whole new separate nonprofit number and everything, so we are not under the city in any way, shape, or form. And you had enlightened me that we were not Pride since 1982.
You are not Pride, no,
Right.
but you've never changed your name either.
Well, we
They just
have.
did.
Yeah.
It's changed
Okay.
now, if you'll check. And we
Well,
can also.
I'll go ahead and I'll check, but as far as that goes, the changing of the name doesn't do anything. It's
Well-
still an ordinance.
But we went through the procedure, Austin.
It's still an ordinance.
We all.
So-
The ordinance is null and void.
The ordinance is not null and void.
Yes, it is.
The way that it stands, the ordinance is not null and void.
So the city has an organization.
They have a subcommittee to the city that is considered McCracken
was back
Beautification.
when-
Who's on the subcommittee?
That brings me to another thing. I'll be adding the conversation to discuss the McCracken Beautification I'll make a motion to add the McCracken City Beautification to the agenda under new business.
So that'll be next meeting.
No, that'll be this meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we add the McCracken Beautification discussion to the new business for the April 24th, 2023 meeting. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same side, motion carried. As far as the discussion on entering private property, it was told by the city commission that the city did not condone anybody going on private property. So they've been told that they were not to go on private property.
So the city doesn't condone it. Everybody knows that, right?
So as far as that, is there any further discussion?
No.
Norma?
So what does that put us under? I mean, knew when this was formed because that was back when Sue had started beautification. I know that's when that ordinance was put in place back and then. But what does that do for us to, I don't know how to word this, for regulations, maybe that's the best word to use, over it.
So for regulations,
As the city.
as for the ordinance, you mean?
Yes, as the ordinance.
The ordinance will be for 2013-02, that'll be on new business. But as far as,
Could I read the ordinance?
yes, you're more than welcome to. But as far as what it does for us is as where it sits as them being a subcommittee to the city, where the city doesn't condone them to be on private property, we ask that they not be on private property. That's just as plain as simple.
All right.
That's our discussion.
It's private property.
Hmm?
It's private property.
Where the landowners have already said not to be on.
Then it's
So the
between the
city's-
landowners and the trespassers. How does that
Technically
have
between
anything
the
to do with
city-
the city?
It's between the city too, because they're a subcommittee to the city.
They are not
They weren't even
associated with this
representing
No comments from
subcommittee.
the floor.
They're not associated with this subcommittee.
The funds are not.
The citizens,
The funds are
the
not associated.
trespassers are not associated with this.
They're not on that board.
They're not on this
that
board and they're not-
committee. They don't go to that meeting.
They're not in a committee.
Right, so how is it the city's business if they trespass?
It's the city's business because they're a subcommittee to the city.
We would go around and around
There's
and
nothing to
around,
go
but your
around
answer
about.
doesn't make any sense.
How does it not make any sense?
If somebody trespasses, how is it the city's business?
If McCracken Beautification was formerly McCracken Beautification, is now City of McCracken Pride, or City of McCracken Beautification, it is still a subcommittee to the city unless that ordinance is completely thrown out. Therefore, they are part of a subcommittee to the city. So therefore, it is the
Who
city's
is?
business.
Who is a part of the subcommittee?
Do they have Pride Committee meetings?
No.
No.
No,
They're beautification now. They've changed their name.
Which is the same thing.
no, they're not.
There's never been an
They
official
have a
name change.
different IEN, or EIN, I'm sorry. They have a different EIN. They're not members of this.
With the state.
They're just
member.
independent citizens.
But EIN members has nothing to do with
The
that
heck
part
it
of
don't.
That just.
The idea, it doesn't, that's a
your
subcommittee
organ-
to the city.
that's
They can't
just
have an EIN
organization.
number. They can't have an EIN number be a subcommittee to the city.
That's right, they can't.
Right.
They also can't get a
They're not.
501c.
We already have.
They are. They are, they did. They're an independent, independent organization. A different, independent,
Nonprofit.
nonprofit.
Private entity.
Yep.
How did they get a 501c so fast? We've been doing that, working on that
Don't
for
ask
a
me.
long time.
They did it.
We've been working, on a different note, I mean, not anything in McCracken, but we've been working on that for a long time, and there's a whole lot of hoops to jump through. to
Yeah,
get
they
through
jumped
that.
through them.
Legal.
So, and if that's the case,
Well, maybe we should have a clarification on that from the attorney.
that was the clarification on from the attorney.
Speaking of the attorney, weren't you supposed to rehire him in February, according to your ordinance?
Rehire him in February.
Aren't you supposed to rehire him every year?
Didn't they change that yearly, so when we did Nichols and theirs, it was at the same time?
They might have.
I was thinking that happened, because he made a miss.
So we've been paying a guy who's not our attorney, officially?
We never have fired him, so he's not our attorney.
According to that, he is.
That's an ordinance.
According to that, he has to be hired every January, terminates in January.
I was thinking though we changed that and done them all at the same time. I might be wrong, I'm not sure.
Maybe, I don't know. That's the only ordinance I've ever seen concerning the counselor. that money back that we've paid him?
Is that a question for the board?
Yeah,
Then please direct it to the party of the board.
I did. I said it out loud. And they're not allowed to make comments, so.
This is true.
Anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted you. What were you saying?
I will go ahead and have Nicole look into that and see if that's what it is, because if it is, then we'll need to reappoint him. And if not, we won't.
Again, I'm sorry.
Okay, so if
Sorry
that's
I
nothing on the
interrupted you.
if there's nothing else on the discussion of that, then we'll go to public comment.
Hey Shane, would you grab that paper from me, please? It's up there on the podium. I need to go and put your name on.
I think I'm good.
Thank you.
First of all, Ron Casey, please approach the podium.
Please.
Thank you.
First, I would like to ask what has happened to the no jake break signs. It's been several meetings ago, and I was helping Joe with the clean out of the city building, and there is no jake break prohibited signs.
In the building?
Mm-mm. And there's not one on the north end, and they're not on the south end of this.
I didn't think you had any.
You said we'd have to look for
We didn't have any. They weren't on either side of
on
town.
either side of town.
No, like we thought they were, they weren't there.
They used to be there.
No, they're not.
I'm wondering if
Okay,
somebody
we'll look into that then.
took
Well, there's something that needs to be followed up on, and it's decision made.
Like to order them, I need, like the decision made if I need to order them or not.
We already made the decision for the order them.
No, we didn't. We were just gonna look to see if we had them first.
We're just gonna look for them
Yeah, and
Okay,
then
we'll put that
I
on
don't,
for the
we don't have them,
for the
so.
next meeting.
The next thing is, I'll try to be as nice as I can. But I don't particularly like to be lied to. I think everybody in this room here doesn't like to be lied to, or the city, other citizens. I had heard that our code enforcer, or whatever you call him, had left the state. He had written a letter of resignation and was accepted. He went to Florida, and he's not in Florida anymore. From what I've heard, he's in maybe Oregon. Now, I don't know how long this has taken, how much time this has transpired, but during that time, we were kind of under the impression that we were actually going to move forward on cleaning up these delinquent properties. Well, we can't do it without a code enforcer. How many months has it been since he's been no longer our code enforcer? Why hasn't a code enforcer been hired? Why hasn't something been in the paper about it? We have got to have a code enforcer. We have to have an attorney, not a counselor for the commission, a city attorney, and a judge. We're never going to get things cleaned up around here. And it's quite obvious you and Norma don't want this town cleaned up. So we're at a standstill. We want something done. And I don't know how we're going to get it across to you people. We want things done. You don't want to tell somebody that, hey, you can't have a dead refrigerator on your front porch. You have a dead car in your yard. It's just unfathomable to me do you take bribes from people saying, well, if you don't make sure they don't come after us with a code violation, we'll make sure they don't I'm sorry, I'm just getting frustrated here, but I know Anita had a code enforcer in Wakini. She had mentioned something about that. It's not cheap, but at least we can get things going. Do you have any responses to that?
My response is there's an ordinance in place. Once the ordinance goes through in its publication, you'll be able to have municipal court. That is my only response.
Do you have a time frame?
Do you have a time frame?
Is that your question or hers?
Yes. My,
Who cares?
I care. I gave you my answer.
I mean, this commission is just a total farce. Other than Joe, you two don't want nothing done. So, I mean, as far as the city, we just as well close down. We have a commission that can't figure out what to do, or if they do get it figured out, they don't want to do nothing. We want something done.
How long is that publication, Rand?
The last time it was in the paper was last week, I think, for the last time, and it would be 61 days from that day. But I'm not really sure on how long it's actually been.
I mean, you drag your feet as long as we're going to tolerate.
There's nothing to drag our feet on.
You certainly have done that.
I'm a code enforcer we have.
I have no idea.
Can't do anything without the ordinance in place. We went through the initiative to do that.
I know it was 61 days after the last publication, and I'm not really sure on that date on that.
But I think everybody in this room wants things done. It's probably the first time in this town's history that we've got a group of people that are actually going to help things cleaned up. So, thank you.
Thank you. We'll look into that and your Jake break signs. I'll have those on the next agenda. Next, Diana side.
I just wanted
Please
to touch
approach
base
the back.
again. Ridiculous. Anyways, when are we expecting the dumpsters? What date? Do we have a date?
The 5th.
We're getting on the 5th.
May 5.
Okay.
But they should be
And
the
you
5th.
have all the locations where we're gonna place them.
Okay.
Yes, Nicole's been creating a flyer.
And we're good on the flyer?
I've already made one. I told you I would, and I
That flyer needs to be brought to the city, and the city needs to approve
Austin,
it.
you know what? I Facebook messaged both you and Norma for some more details. Neither one of you answered. I went off what I had from the last meeting where you stated that information. Here's a flyer. Use it, don't use it.
I'm sorry, I didn't. I obviously didn't.
See it on Facebook.
Would you like to see it?
I have a copy. Arlene brought me a copy. There's just some things on here that's not correct, so
Well, if you would have responded to my Facebook message, then we could have corrected it. What do I need to change on Facebook? What is incorrect?
Well, the flyers were passed out Friday evening and, Saturday, Friday evening, and again on Sunday afternoon.
What's not correct on it?
the dumpsters won't be set east of the park.
I said east of the park.
Yeah, they won't be east of the park.
Well, there again, if you would have answered the Facebook message, so where will they be?
Facebook's not an appropriate way to contact me.
I don't know how to contact you people.
The city
Nobody
phone,
answers
the city phone
anything.
number is a proper way to contact all of us. The
Okay,
use of,
so
the
where
use
will
of
they be
Nicole's phone
set?
number at the bottom was not appropriate.
Where will they be set?
They will be set at Tina and Travis Elias's over here in the corner where the chat is. There'll be another one set between Travis Gruna's and George Hunter's down on that one road. And then the other one will be set over in front of the side of the school of Dave Liberton's.
Where with Travis and Ty?
By the yellow house, by where the city sets their check,
So like the big corner.
on the street.
Where those piles of gravel are on the
On
street.
their property or right
over
next
by
to
the
them?
lodge,
Yeah, in between there.
close
Yeah.
to Main Street.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we're getting them on the 5th. Norma, did you address your youth group?
Yes, I did, and I gave him your information, if they was to get a hold of you.
And who's they? So I know.
Carrie Morgan.
Carrie Morgan. And did you give her an ETA to call me so we can kind of coordinate to get this
I
going
told
with
her
the kids?
what the date was that you was looking at. And I
Right.
said, you need to, if you want them to be a participant and.
Did
you had
she
some-
want them to be, or?
She did not indicate to me yes or no.
So
I
did you
just-
help to encourage it or discourage it?
No, I sent her the message, I said that you had requested to have the youth group. I am reaching out to you. Would you please decide if you want the youth group to participate, get a hold of Diane Soller.
Silent.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And she'll coordinate with you.
Right.
No, I'm fully okay with that.
Well, I mean, can't we just for once?
Well, the
Get-
reason I didn't want to do a middleman, because sometimes things get
Well, it doesn't,
yeah.
regardless, you and I, we were talking.
Right. So
Get
I
these
did
kids
that.
on board, you know, I saw a whole bunch of young,
They
guys,
moved over.
and
yeah.
again, you know, if there's anybody can step up, you know, it'd be nice to have some guys out there. You know, Jeannie and I were out there and then Kathy kicked in. We're picking up all this lumber and shit laying around. It's heavy. I got my war wounds right here.
I know, I understand.
But I'm like, you know, instead of trying to throw wrenches and ordinances, can we just come together and clean this fucking town up? I'm sorry, but I have never seen a more disgusting place in my life. And I've lived in a lot of places. And this one here, all you guys want to do is throw a wrench in it. Why? Why can't we just help each other?
No, I did. I did exactly
But
what
then
you
I hear all
asked
this chit chat and backstabbing and whatever, and I was like, enough! Let's get together and make a plan. Are we gonna do it on the 5th, or are we gonna talk about it? Are you
me.
gonna
I
help?
assumed you guys was coordinating.
Who's you
that.
guys?
You're.
We're not a group. We're
A
just
group. I-
citizens, just jumping up
I
to
know, you
help.
guys came to us and asked us.
I said,
and
"Get the
I said,
dumpsters."
yes, I would, and I figured you probably, since you had the ideas of what was there, that's why I gave her.
Well,
your
and then
name
not
your
only
name on
that, you live here too. You see the crap laying around.
it. Exactly.
Don't-
I stopped
doesn't
and
you
picked it
guys-
up.
Have any pride? Take some pride.
To me, it's pretty cut and dry.
Look.
There's 3 dumpsters. Those dumpsters.
I'm talking
those
about
dumpsters
in
are put-
general, just the crap laying around. I've got it lined up that the reason why we talked about putting it down by wherever is so if there was mowers and everything sitting there waiting to be picked up, it wouldn't be an eyesore on Main Street. But then again, if you would have communicated with Anita, we would have known that. So, but it's not too late to move things around.
Shouldn't they have those picked up before then?
Who?
What should
the
and
mowers and
doing
stuff?
are 2 different things too.
No, I meant.
Yeah, they should.
Not the people that, I don't know who it is picking them up, but I'm just thinking.
I have to coordinate with them, and
if we don't
that was
know.
the plan, to have the flyer go around, so we could talk to these people. Yes, can we get them, can we move them, get them organized, so I could tell them, this is what we have, this is what, come get it at your leisure.
Well, since
Period.
you guys said it was you guys that set it up, then why don't you share the number of the dumpster guy so we can just alleviate the city part of it?
So if we're going to alleviate the city part of it, are we still not paying for the dumpsters?
Well, of course you're paying for it.
You're cleaning up your city.
It's our city.
For
Don't you
your
want to take any
citizens.
pride in cleaning it
That's not
up?
what I'm saying.
That's what we're saying.
I'm being asked whether or not the Pride is doing this part.
Pride
Pride
has
is
nothing
not
to do with
doing
anything.
anything with, it's just
It's
citizens.
just citizens. Okay.
Just
I just
citizens.
want to make that clear that
Okay.
just citizens.
Right, it has nothing to do with pride, beautification. You know, it's called dirtification because this
Well, you said
freaking
we had
town
a
is
meet-
dirty.
You said we had a meeting and we kind of nixed this taco deal, so that's what.
Well, and we were talking about that, saying, you know, if you guys wanted to do something as far as the city, and because it's Cinco de Mayo Day, you know, to get people encouraged to step up. You know, come out of your houses. Let's take a command stand and just go around and pick this crap up. It's not that hard. Just one thing. I don't want you to ruffle feathers, but
No, you're fine.
we need to ruffle them. Let's get this stuff cleaned up. It's not that hard.
Well, if we're going to, so from my understanding then is you guys are going to ramrod and figure out exactly who you're gonna have pick everything up then?
Pick
Like
what?
you had said that you had somebody that was gonna pick
I'm
up the
just
stuff.
talking about the cars and stuff. We get everybody else, if they put it in piles by their street, we were gonna go around and talk to people, see who really needed help. And there's a lot of older people. I'm no spring chicken. You know, you could be out there helping. Yes? No?
You won't see me, I've got a bad hip. I have surgery.
Well,
on the
I got a
15th.
bad ass and I'm still out there.
And I have a full hip replacement on the 15th, so you will not see me.
Well, you do pretty good running around. 1 minute you're walking, then you're in a cane, then you're in a wheelchair. Which is it? I mean,
Depends how far I'm going.
is this a farce?
No, it's not a farce.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't wish you any ill will, but it looks kind of funny. 1 minute you're running, the next minute you're on a
I'm not
cane.
running, but
Well, people have seen you run. But either way, I mean, you yourself, you got your whole back porch is full of shit.
Yeah,
Would
and I
you
have
like
somebody
that
coming-
hauled off?
I have somebody coming to haul it off, yes.
Okay, well, that's good. That's a good start. That's what we're looking for. Let's get this town looking good so we can get people to come in and clean it up, and maybe you can sell some of this crap. Get it cleaned up. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you. As far as the no refrigerators, Anita, they can have refrigerators, they just can't have the lines on them.
The what?
They have
They have
to
to
be tagged.
disconnect the Freon line.
They have to cut them
Yeah,
so
they have
the
to be
freon's out.
Thank you.
And the paint
And the
should be
paint,
dry.
the paint has to be dry.
I don't think you can just cut a Freon
No,
line
No,
and
they
let
have
you're
to be
leaving it
tagged.
into the
Well,
it to
that-
be recovered.
That was what the guy told me when he says, we just cannot have freon.
Yeah, so they have
And
to.
I
Yeah, but you can't just
guarantee
let
you
that
The
go
county's
into the
always-
air either.
Well, it's
county's the one
illegal
that-
to
county's
cut
the
the
one that said
lines
that they
and
would-
loose the Freon into the
The county's the one that
atmosphere.
said that they will take refrigerators as long as the freon's out of them.
Don't they have to have a plumber come and like just do all that, take care of that?
Yeah,
so
that
it's
Freon
certified?
has to be recovered. It can't just
I'm
be
just
let
saying
out
that.
into the
I
atmosphere.
understand, I'm just saying that's what the county said was as long as the freon is out of them.
Okay, I'm just saying that, I think Brunts does that, maybe.
Okay.
Does that. Mike Brunts, maybe? I think.
I think he turned his business over to
Oh,
Trent
yeah, that's right,
Whitton.
it's Trent Whitton, I don't know if he does it, I could call him.
You might find somebody that'll recover it and make that number and name public so people can contact them and
So I
get
think they have
the.
to like put a tag on it or something, I think.
The plumber will probably have to tag
Yeah,
him.
that's what they have to do, I'm pretty sure. But I couldn't find somebody, I'm not sure who would do that around
And,
here.
and he's right on paint cans. You can have paint and just take the lids off, let them dry out.
He said 1 to 2 weeks at least.
They have stuff at Home Depot you can pour into paint and it hardens it right there.
But if they don't, they can do it that way.
Right, but I'm just saying they have a chemical, you just pour it into it, it's like a powder and it dries it right up. So it'll be ready to go.
And next is Rosie.
Rosie.
You know, Jackie, when I organized the cleanup of 21, we didn't have any of these problems.
No,
And I don't understand what all the issues are. We just need dumpsters set around
yep,
and
that's all we did.
that's all. And,
And then we had people come out on a certain day.
and we couldn't get rid of the big stuff because,
And the mowers and things like that, we couldn't, the people sat them out.
but I've tried since October to get a gentleman from Great Bend out here to take that old, I think it's from probably the 40s, a cook stove down where we had our kennel. And, because he came and got Babe's pickup. And I said, well, no, I want you to get that stove that's down there. It's not in the city limits, but you see it when you come to town. And anyway, Deb and Craig Rickson's trying to get the same guy to come up and get iron and stuff out of his pasture and stuff. So, but I just don't understand what the big fuss about it is. You know,
He said, she said. He does, she doesn't. It's just, nobody wants to work together anymore.
well,
So,
but there's no reason to have that kind of attitude or mind thought, not attitude, a mind thought. Those that are gonna work are gonna work. And those that aren't able are,
well, you've got 15 people sitting here that are willing to, so.
and there's more, but they're
Yep.
not available, so, come to meetings and things. But anyway, I don't see the big issue. We just wanna do it. I don't see why we have to go through. To me, this committee is just like the Athenian Club, the New Era Club, the Eastern Star, the Masonic Lodge. None of that was under the city commissioners. So this shouldn't be under the city commissioners because it doesn't have anything to do with the city, is my understanding. And that's the same way with our
It does.
other.
I mean, there's a cleanup of their town and there's gonna have to be some expense to the city.
Okay.
And the dumpsters are gonna have to be
And
it because the
and that's
county no
part of
longer
it?
does
Okay.
the dumpsters.
Because
If that's the way I understand it.
and I think the reason we didn't have to mess with the dumpsters is because the
They
county
provided it.
and
That is correct.
GBT, and that's why we didn't have to go through all this, right?
Correct.
Okay.
We're essentially doing the same thing lacrosse does.
But
Providing the dumpsters and allowing people to go and put their stuff out. The only thing different we're doing is making a better spot for the metal, because we have more metal than we have other
Austin,
stuff.
let's just cooperate, don't make us go over hurdles that we don't necessarily
flyer.
have to do. Does that make sense?
Makes 100% sense.
Okay, well,
We're
thank
trying
you.
to work together.
Okay, because let's
That's
get
been the
rid
goal
of
this
the
whole time.
hurdles.
Okay, Rosemary,
I am on a quest to find the flags. Les and I had donated flags, and when we put them on Main Street. So I'm talking to Lance McCormick to find those. I want those put up for Memorial, for the rodeo.
And for the celebration of the Paper Moon, which is the 16th and 17th of June.
Yes, those will be available. I will find those if they're in.
I've understood they're in Christina Brooks' facility or home, and somebody else needs to go get them besides us.
I can ask her about them.
That'd be great.
That would be wonderful. And I want to look at those to make sure if they're in sad shape. Then we're going to find out with the American Legion how to dispose of those properly. And we'll get new ones. Les and I, that'll be ongoing. We'll continue to do that.
I think they have to do, I think lacrosse, Boy Scouts does them about once a year
There's
or
a
so.
receptacle at
So you look
lacrosse
there,
that you can
just-
put your flags
Yeah, I
in,
think
and-
so, yeah.
But they have to be burned and with a ceremony.
Right, right. And they do that at the fire station, I think, once or twice a year at lacrosse.
But Terry Warner's the person to get in touch with.
Okay, and I will do that. Also, just the Christmas ornaments, and that was just tugged at my heart when I saw the wreaths being put up with light bulbs that were broken. I mean, I don't have very good eyesight, but even I could see that those need to be rehabbed. And that's one of the things that I would like to do with beautification. If there's a possibility, we could get in and get those and get new light bulbs, clean them up.
I can tell you what the problem is, Rose. The way the old light bulbs was, I had to use what we had, but most of them would have to have a whole new thing because it's the way they're wired in. They was like an LED type light and they're wired directly into it. It's not a socket to just
But
screw them in.
what I'm saying, Norma, is anybody could see what was hanging up. It was askew, it was broken, the light bulbs were broken.
Just correct.
I would rather not have them up.
Well, they
Then
want,
have
that
them-
was not up and then they wanted them up and that's all we have.
Well, but
So,
common sense dictates, and we will take care of that so that never
No, if
happens
we
again.
had-
Because
we did something
when we
different.
first started this, all those wreaths we did independently. Wasn't with the city, I, had a lady do a quilt. People could buy chances for that. So it's, as Arlene said, when it needs to be done, I understand ordinances, I understand all of that, but it was just people coming together and making it happen. And that, I'm going to make sure those are that. And then we will address too, with the library, the taking down the stone wall, because that is a hazard. And I will let you know when that time will be, so forth, so.
And I'm just here to let you know that the website has changed from City of McCracken Pride to City of McCracken Beautification. Has absolutely nothing to do with the City of McCracken. We have our own EIN. It is an absolute Kansas nonprofit, and it is a legitimate nonprofit at this given point. So we will start having fundraisers, things like that, to help benefit some things that are in the city, such as these, getting things hung in here, getting, the Christmas decorations and other things. So hopefully we've got the city support behind us. We will come to you if it has anything to do with the city, but other than that, we're trying to help the citizens of the city, not you guys.
But what I will do is, we'll have programs and things, and that's one of the things I have access to. We'll bring programs, and I will ask you, is it still available for nonprofits to have fundraisers, like in the city building? Is it?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Are you guys cold?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
I'm not, though. It's safe
If there's no more public comment, then I make a motion to
I'm hot.
approve the consent agenda and pay the bills. I'll second that. Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same side, motion carried.
I'm sorry, can we not finish the flyer issue? So we can get this flyer? The way you guys.
It's already out. Them out.
Okay, it's already done?
Yeah, it's
All
already
right,
out
good.
and
All
done,
right.
and, yeah.
Do we have to,
I'll fix it.
but do I go back and?
No.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Just put something out that says where they're gonna be,
Yeah.
dumpsters.
We'll get it out there.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
No, Arlene, I appreciate what you've already done.
Well,
Going door to door.
Very nice.
Well, that's, but it took a long time because I ran into a lot of people in our community that are lonesome and they like to visit.
Yep.
And I think we all kind of need to step up, and I'm embarrassed. My neighbor Jim Reeves, I felt so guilty that I hadn't been to see him. He was one. And the lady in what used to be the city center community, Shondell Timken, she can't get out and about. And I'm not a good neighbor, and this town's so small I can be a good neighbor to everybody. And I just,
We all
the
can.
day- the
I
day
even-
humbled me.
I
And,
said that yesterday when a bunch of us were talking. It would be nice, or actually today, Jeannie and I were talking. Said it'd be nice if some of these shut-ins, that once a month, we could get together, I don't care if it's in my house or here, and make meals for some of these
Well,
shut-ins. I
it's
know
like-
Jim Reeves with his cancer, that
Well-
isn't gonna be easy for him.
Well, he's doing really well. He's taking black seed oil
Nice.
instead of chemo, and he's doing well, and his son has been here with him, and he just left. But Shondell is a little different situation. But, what?
Who is this Chandel?
They live in, the Timken's their last name. They live where the city.
Where June Bible Bell used to
June
live.
Bible's
Is
house.
she sick?
She has seizures.
Oh, very good.
Yes, she has seizures.
Sweetheart, she used to come to our house all the time to pay her water bill.
Well, and she made it down to the 4th of July last summer. And I think that's the last time, other than her doctor's appointments and stuff. But, anyway,
I'm gonna motion to
We'll do it.
Okay, so you have your decorum ordinance in front of you for your review, so nothing for resolutions and ordinances on that. I make a motion that we table chapter 1 of the governing body handbook at this time due to the length of the meeting. Is there a second?
One second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to table chapter 1 of the governing body handbook reading at this time. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same side, motion carried. Next, we have Commissioners' report. We'll start with Joe Tillman.
I asked Rob Skillet to bring 15 tons of gravel out for the project over by the pool that Shane has in mind, and for the maintenance building. So when he gets time, he'll bring that out. And do you have a preference as to where it should go? Do you want it on the
They're right there beside the machine shed.
beside it? Oh, in the street
No, it's right there.
by the back doors?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so when he gets time, he'll get in touch and deliver that. I would think in the next week or two.
Okay.
That's all.
No. Okay. I just kind of wanted to touch some things that we have done, and I know sometimes you think we haven't done anything and that we're not wanting to do anything, and that's absolutely not true. It has taken quite a while to get our ordinance resolutions up to date according to Third City state laws, not according to anything else, but just Third City state laws. And you can look those statutes up if you'd like. Just go to the state statutes and look under third class city, and that's what we're under. The positions that we had hired, only two in question, I guess, on that, but other than that, the other stuff had been. Our city clerk, I'm very proud to say that she's almost done with her first year of classes, and that's been quite a feat, all in all. We have a certified water person, which is Shane. Thank you, Shane. You've done a really good job, and I know it's been very difficult because, again, all of us do work jobs. We don't just sit and do city business only, but we have to work that in with all the other things that go on too. So it's a work in progress, and I understand, and government works very, very slow. It drives me crazy. And none of those positions are, even in Shane's position, would not be enough to live on as that only. So we all just try to do our part and work together as best as we can. And I know that we as commissioners have we have all taken classes to some point. Austin's had 2 mayor's conference classes, a COMA class, and maybe 2, I'm not sure on that one. I have had 2 COMA classes, 1 mayor's conference, 1 annual conference, and I know Austin's going to the annual conference for sure this year. We've hired a person to do the mowing at the cemetery. The water is now at the cemetery, you guys, so you have a faucet, a spigot there, and the water is ready to go, so you can use that water, or if somebody needs to set a headstone, they can now not have to haul their water in, they're able to do so. We worked on pools, and some of these things we're going to talk, I know Austin has a little more into it, but the pool has been looked at by a professional and assessed, and it does sound a little better than we thought. We're not the professionals, so that's why we felt it was important to have somebody that done that, and that's their job. So that is in process. We need to start working probably this next month on budgeting, because the budget, we're always 1 year behind. I think that's how that works in budgeting. So we need to start looking at those funds and where we need to put funds. We have street fund, we have recreational fund, we have salaries to look at. We have classes and conferences that will be coming up. We have maintenance and equipment for sale or purchase, whichever needs to be done. Those things all have to be put into a budget before they can be
I
done.
understand that, Norma.
So-
I just,
Well, these are things that are going on. This is my report. The mowing of the city will be starting. We have all of those things in place. So it's not really that we haven't. And I did want to share, when I went to the class, actually, we went to the class together. This was one of the things, and it really did hit me. It really did. It's 5 dysfunctional parts of a team. And I've really been dwelling on this. I've read the book, I bought it, I've been highlighting it, and he gave these set areas, and you actually start from the bottom. When we have an absence of distrust, we have I can't say it. Fear of conflict, we start having artificial harmony. We have lack of commitment, that causes ambition. I can't say those words today. Avoidance of accountability causes low standards, attractive to results. And so when you look at these, and you're putting these back into place, you're really looking at trust, conflict, commitment, accountability, and what that brings is results. And the guy that gave this course, he was absolutely
What
wonderful.
book was that?
This is the title of the book, The 5 Dysfunctionals of Teams. And it really is, it puts it in a story form. So you actually get this team that's working together, kind of, just a story, but how these things work throughout it. And I would suggest all of us read this book and really look at it, because I do want to have trust. And good conflict is good. We do need to have healthy conflict. And that's how I put it, healthy conflict. There's unhealthy and there's healthy. And just because we have a difference of opinion doesn't mean that we dislike somebody or we don't see, that. But if we are looking at the problem, we're looking at the situation. And the conflict should be about the situation. And so therefore, then that brings us into that commitment. What then can we do about that? What can we bring about it? And that brings it into a commitment that we're willing to make. And then the accountability, are we going to be accountable to one another? I apologize to all of you. I do. Because I haven't been good in all of these areas. And I'm going to work on this very seriously. And I do, like I said, I do offer you guys to read the book too. Yeah, I think anybody, this is a great process. No matter what your occupation is, this is a great process. And if you're in any kind of, because I'm in other organizations too, so therefore, I looked at it as other organizations that I'm involved in, like the food bank and different things like that. And how can I be better at those areas? And did you feel like this was a really...
It was a really good
class. And he wasn't boring, he was very lively.
He was from KU.
Yes. So this is what you sent us to, and your tax dollars goes to. And the league stuff and what's going on, and I did want to give you an outline of what we did learn. I did go to the class, I did learn a lot, and I hope that I can be better because of it. And all of our classes we should be better at. I mean, they should be something. So you're more than welcome to.
You might also enjoy, Russell, Chamber of Commerce, hosted a meeting and a book. 13 Ways to Kill Your Community. And it's listed on Amazon.
Okay. That's good.
So I heard it was really a good presentation.
I just feel like you're right, we all can process and we all can be better at what we do. And again, I do apologize if I haven't done the best
But you
job.
gotta remember, when you lie to people and break their trust, it takes a long time to gain that back. That's not just gonna happen.
I will tell you, as far as my heart is, I personally, if I have lied to you, I am sorry,
You
but
did
I
about
don't.
the mail keys, you was getting the mail. You got a check from Lane Scott one time that you claimed they delivered it to your door and you got it out in the mail.
All the documents from Christina
Yeah,
Brooke.
I found out there was, you know, you swore to me that Christina had turned everything over and I could not make anything out of all of it. And come to find out, she had almost a whole room full of
Well, I
city
didn't
stuff.
lie to you because what I seen, I just helped her unload from here and it was everything out of her car. So that was not a
That could
lie.
have been shared in that facet.
But anyway, you
And I
know,
think-
to grow and to go on, you know,
I
I'm
think
just.
we just need transparency.
we're
And this
working
is
on
one
that.
thing too, that the community needs to know about, the water out of the cemetery. That would be a great place to start with transparency.
Well, this
Because you
just
could tell-
happened. We just got it.
Okay, but I'm asking
Yeah.
you.
Well,
let the
Memorial's coming up,
community
it'd be a
know.
good thing to,
Yes, that's why I'm
Post
telling you,
everywhere.
because we did just get it done.
Post
and
office.
Well,
finished.
how do you expect to get it to the community
Well,
besides just here?
Well, we told everybody at the last meeting that we were doing
We're
it.
doing it.
So if we were going to get it done, we got it done now, so now we're telling you it's done.
But could you
So
give
that's how we-
flyers to those people that are in the community?
During Memorial Day, we could put a sign up that says you can get your water here.
Where is
But
the
I mean,
meter
like-
at? Where did you find the
Okay,
meter?
I
Put a
did
flyer
not
in the water
actually
bill.
know where that water meter was
put a
either.
flyer in the water bill.
Yeah,
It's, on the back
Backside.
side over,
makes perfect sense.
you know, when you drive in and you go straight around, don't go in the middle, go straight clear to the end and go around. It's
Okay.
right in the center there where that road comes.
Not in the center where the flag.
No, it is not there. But if you go straight down from the flag, you
Okay.
can get to it.
Okay.
Yes.
Jackie.
Jackie did, I told her it was a good idea.
Jackie did.
Yep.
Put
Good
it in the
idea.
water bill about the water at the
I
city.
will, I'll
That's what she
do
said.
that. Yep,
Cemetery.
do that.
And the dumpsters. Location.
Is it too
They've
late?
already gone out for this month.
Oh, yeah, the water bills. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, let's.
Well, actually, they'll be out before
Okay,
the
so there's
fifth,
no
so I
other
can't
than
put it in
that?
there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so next, I have my mayor's report. As far as for mayor's report, I kind of rolled into the swimming pool in the park. So this time I'm not going to state the mayor's report. I'll give more information in my next report. So we'll do a conference review. Nicole,
Well, I don't need to say anything.
you don't want to say anything?
No, you're not the commissioner.
Well, she went to the conference though.
Yeah, I know.
I found the conference very informative.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Which
it.
one
But
was
she was asked a question last meeting and you shut down the question because you said, why are you asking her? She's not a commissioner. You stated that in the last meeting.
That's you.
One conference?
Ron Casey.
It was the mayor's conference
Oh, that's
with the
because-
league
because-
in
Oh, in Manhattan.
Hayes. They had it in
Okay,
Hayes.
when was
this-
that?
Just this last week.
Last week.
Last
Yeah.
week.
Last weekend, yeah.
Do we pay
Not
for
this last weekend, the
mileage?
weekend
No.
before.
We don't pay for mileage.
No.
We set up, well, you wouldn't have to stay in a hotel.
We didn't, none of us
Oh,
stayed in
that's
the
good.
hotel. We
That's
just
too
drove.
close.
We could have, but we didn't. No.
Yeah, you just drove from
Yeah.
Kraken.
That's way too close to be setting up in a hotel.
So, as far as the conference went, the biggest thing that we found that everybody's problem is housing. There's no houses anywhere. So the rural housing development, they have put out different funds that they're going to offer different grants for second level homes, different historical society grants. So we're going to get more information on that via email from Nathan Lundman. I think his name's Lundman. He's the new executor of the league. And then also, what was really kind of neat is they asked at the end, I stayed for the end, these two left, I stayed for the end, and they asked us specifically what our problems were within our city. And I said, well, we all keep quoting about how we have this League of Municipalities, but nobody can talk to them. Everybody wants to know where they're at, and why can't they come to a meeting? So they're actually going to, they have some funds, they're actually going to have a representative start coming out to meet with cities and to kind of give them a look at what the league actually does and to help on different issues. So that's something that they're starting up. Right now they don't have enough employees for that yet because they have all their attorneys on staff with legislative, but they're going to, hopefully in July, I think they said, they're going to be able to start getting somebody to come out at least to some of the regions to help.
But what's happening with the city having an attorney, not for you guys, a counselor? What happened to the city? It's in an ordinance that we have legal representation. We need a city attorney. And then we need a judge so we can get all this stuff cleaned up and facilitated.
You must have missed the public comment from Ron Casey where I answered him that the ordinance is in effect and we're waiting for publication to go through.
It has
That
to
will
be-
answer your
It's on a
question.
charter ordinance.
It's in a charter
It's
ordinance.
I understand that, but where is the attorney? This guy from Topeka is not going to be the guy that we need. He's not an attorney. He's not representing the city. He's representing you three. You need somebody that we can contact, that he can come here and we can have a conversation with. If we disagree with something you guys are doing, we need to be able to have that right. And with your guy, we can't even touch him. That is representation for you three, not for us at all. Matter of fact, you've completely desecrated us as a party to that representation. Completely
He was
desecrated us
coming
for
out here
that.
to talk to you for a
No,
town hall.
no. He was simply doing what you asked him to do. He came for one time on a deal, and then what do you want? Drawing straws on something that was very, very important that you came out and told everyone out of an executive session, which should never be done? Come on. We need somebody that's representing our city, not the three commissioners.
You might find it helpful having your attorney sit with you, so when you do have a question, they're very good at interpreting it
Responding.
not only for you, but also for us. It's just nice having them right
Which is
there to answer your
exactly
questions.
what we had.
I know it's all, I hate to say it's Holman, but it was just really nice having him there. Just like, well, how is that? And he would like explain it to us.
And we were able to say, oh, I don't know, let's take that to our council, our attorney, not our council.
I think
And-
you would find it helpful having him right here where you can actually ask him a question in person.
And he could stop
As
a lot
as
of
they come
the,
up.
We can have him zoom in.
no, that's not what we're saying at all. This hasn't worked in a year. Has not worked, and he's actually not your attorney. You didn't even reappoint him. So that needs to be addressed as well. And where's Frank?
Where's your name on public comment?
Now here
Have
we
you
go.
not read your
For
decorum?
the last 5 weeks, you've been just responding to anybody and everybody, but when I
No,
or
I
Casey
have
make a
been-
comment,
I've made
you
comments to
absolutely
You're not
go,
making comments,
where is
though.
it?
You're asking all these things that are not even on the agenda.
Yep, you're right.
Did you sign up?
So therefore,
Ignored.
It just depends who-
not ignoring,
It just depends who's.
Ignored.
go on to the agenda for next week. As it should.
Then put it on there, will you?
more on conference review? Norma?
No, I gave you mine.
Nicole?
I don't have anything.
You didn't learn anything?
I don't.
We learned together.
Yeah.
And you did take the housing.
By the grace of God.
Yeah, I took the housing.
So it's clear that we didn't go in the same one then. that way.
Just a quick question on the housing thing. So, what kind of funds are out there? Is that to bring in housing, fix up some of these shacks that are falling down, and make them new houses? What?
You have
Just
it on
curious.
here on the new business, do you want me to
Yeah,
just state it then?
Yeah.
I'll state it in new business
Okay.
to explain, answer your question. Okay, next we have repayment of the unused training registration fees. I'm gonna make a motion to remove that from the agenda and have Nicole send the invoice. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to have Nicole, to remove the repayment of unused training registration fees off the agenda and to have Nicole send an invoice instead. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same side, motion carried. Next, we have city officer reports.
I don't have anything this week.
And Amanda's not here. Do you have a treasurer's report?
Actually, I wrote it down.
Oh, you're on break.
No, I just, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I
so
realized
and
you
then-
meant tonight.
Just like the guy at
What,
Verizon or
recess?
AT&T.
Yeah, there you go, there you go.
Oh, cool.
Good job.
That's the treasurer's report.
And that's what's in the budget,
That's what's in the bank,
in the bank.
yeah.
What's ARPA?
The ARPA, that's the American Recovery, the COVID from the,
COVID funds.
I can't remember
Now,
what
is
the PA
that,
stands
do you
for.
have to use that now for something really specific?
No, it's pretty broad now.
Nice.
We put down, we were gonna use it for lost revenue, so we can pretty much,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Is the general the amount of the?
Now, I don't understand the highway.
No, that's, like, if we add all those together, that's what we have in the bank.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's like 233,000.
Arlene asked you
something
about
like
the
that.
highway.
What's that?
What's with the highway?
What do you mean?
The highway's what?
Like this
pays
special
the
highway that we pay the
light
city
bills.
lights, or street lights, I mean, that's what we pay that with.
Okay, to me, that's Highway 4 that goes through town.
Oh, no. That's just what it's called. I mean,
Highway is kind of, because the streetlights are on the street areas, plus then that can be pit streets being
we
repaired
get like
too.
we get a payment from like the gas tax, like the state will send it to us once, I think, a quarter.
Every quarter. Yeah.
And so that's what goes into that to pay the street lights.
Oh, okay. I think I'd call it street lights.
I know.
Yeah, it's called the Special Highway Fund.
Oh, okay.
Isn't there supposed to be something coming from water into sewer?
The sewer down there, yeah. Like that.
Does some of the water go into the
Oh,
sewer?
yeah, it goes.
Don't you every quarter or
I don't have
twice
to
a
do
year?
that anymore, I just have to, it just does it automatically now.
Oh, and that in the new.
Yeah,
okay,
because we
gotcha.
also, because I put all the money into one account, so now, just last month, we made $113 on interest in just 1 month, and then the month before that, we made 100 and something. So we've been making over $100 a month on interest now, because I have put it in one account. So yeah, it is in one account, because the software keeps it separate for me, so I don't have to worry about that anymore.
So like if Shane does work on the streets or something here, is that gonna come out of general? If he needs.
That would come out of the street.
Highway.
Yeah, it would come out,
Okay.
like, it's, I got a chart of accounts, and then I just put it, whatever the expense was, it goes, there's a number, and it'll take it out of the, whatever it comes out of automatically. So it keeps it separate. It's like the water fund, everything is in one account now, except for the savings and the CDs. But, yeah, and we're getting 0.90% interest every month, which is really good. I mean, because we were getting 0.01, I think, before. But anyway,
Is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report as written?
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Is there a second?
Second it.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the treasurer's report as written. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same side, motion carried. Okay, next we'll have old business.
Oh, Shane.
Oh, Shane.
Oh, I don't have much. Been out of town all month. But we will get those signs ordered, and as soon as we get them in, I'll get them up.
Yeah, because I've noticed they have been loud lately. I even said something to him one night.
That what?
The Jake Briggs.
Jake Briggs.
It's been so
Oh.
loud
Yeah,
lately
we
for
don't
some
have-
reason.
Yeah, it's,
Video.
yeah, and then the fool that drives down Main Street down in, but the sheriffs have got that.
Can we do anything about that? That's so dangerous. They're
We
driving
will when
60
they go
miles
in my
an hour
front
down Main.
yard.
I'm just afraid an animal or a child is gonna get hit.
We can't do anything, we can only call the sheriff.
Okay. Gosh,
Is that just general traffic that's going down Main Street?
Oh, no.
no, it's an individual race.
No. All the videos get sent to the sheriff.
And I'm gonna give you both the pool update since I wasn't able to be there.
Okay, so.
On the pool, we had the gentleman from Salina come out. He did take an assessment of it. He told us, he said, basically, if we'd have used the right paint, that probably would have taken care of what did happen in there. But he told us absolutely the pool was not in terrible shape. He said, in his opinion, for right now, his suggestion would be if we wanted to go ahead and fill in some of those cracks around the edge and then use the proper paint that would seal those, because they didn't use an epoxy paint. An epoxy paint is a two-mixture paint that is designed for pools to seal them.
Yeah, for specialists to use,
Right.
not your
Well-
local citizens.
Well, no, we've always bought it before
You
until the
don't
last
want
2
citizens
years.
doing that or you're gonna get sued.
Well, he
What
did,
company
he did
is
not.
it out of Salina, Norma?
The Pools
Pools
Plus.
Plus.
Pools
Okay.
Plus.
The paint's been bought for years. It's the same paint that they've always bought for years. at
But
Heartland
for the
Lumber.
last 2 years, they did use a different paint that wasn't epoxy. So he said that's probably what created that part of it, but he said, and I just flat asked him, I says, is our pool in horrible, horrible shape? And he goes, let me put it to you this way, I've seen a whole lot worse. He said, no, it's very doable. He's getting with the kid when it was full, because there's two processes, it's easy to test the lines when the pressure is on them with the water. And of course, right now, we had him look at it with it empty, so that's a different look at it. So he was gonna get back with Jason to see what he came with the testing of the lines, and then he was gonna sit down and do his assessment with what he seen on the empty pool. And he said, but as far as it being doable, he says, I would suggest you use the epoxy paint. And if you want to fill those cracks in, do it. He says, but basically your pool should be functionable unless the only part that was, and we do have to test this part, and he told me what we needed to do was, because there was a question on the drain, and he said, I would clean out your bottom, because the trash and stuff just from the wind and stuff blows in there. Clean that bottom out and then put about 3 foot of water in, put a mark on it, and see if the water goes down. He said, now, in that case, if it did, then there might be a possible problem with the drain. And he says that is the more expensive side of it to repair, but he said it is doable. So we'll see what his assessment ends up being as a total. I can only give you what he verbally gave me, and I showed him what Jason had replumbed and done, and he said the reason the two overflow, I don't know, what do I want to call skimmers. That was my word. Skimmers probably wasn't, because where there's two lines, if you go in the pump house, they had been cut and replumbed in, and that was to bring those other that we did a temporary thing with, and he said there wasn't nothing wrong with what they did. He said, basically, the drain is used to bring down the water, suck it back through, and then that keeps your cold water off the bottom and keeps it stirred. So we'll see what his assessment finally comes out, but all in all, that's kind of what his overall, just when we was there, was.
He
I
said that
thought
the price of the pool to actually have it, like, the concrete
Oh,
and everything, going up,
If
he told us around 10,000
To do what?
to tear out, because he said
Take it out.
to tear out the, where he would need to fix for the drain.
Oh, and he
Just for
said
that piece, he
depending
said
on
that
that,
he'd
and I
give
told him that we
10,000.
did have the blueprints to all of that, so that he said if I seen those, I could tell you pretty much what we,
Nicole has them.
yeah.
I
So-
thought what's leaking was the pipe underneath the pool.
Well, that's the question, that's
they're
the
trying to
drain,
verify.
that's the questionable part. So we'll, as soon as this weather gets where we can do something,
When they pressured the lines last year,
and we did pressure them, yes, and that was, they
Didn't have an
pressured
issue.
out, they was fine
and
then.
he fixed the drain last year.
No, it's not fixed, that's
No,
why
he
he wants
fixed
it
the
right
I'm
now.
drain
saying he
cover.
fixed the drain cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, the drain cover, it was the drain cover he
It shouldn't be
fixed.
hard to pressure test it with air pressure.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Maybe we should do that again.
And he said what he would do this where we put the water in. If that showed down, he says, then I would pressure it. He says, but I would suggest just doing this. He says, that's an easy, little easier situation.
A quick pressure test would be the easiest way to do it. You wouldn't have to put water in it.
Well, I mean,
How would you pressure test that drain?
without water.
You open one end where it comes into the filter house, into that shed.
Yeah.
You put a plug in it with a gauge on it.
How
Or
are you gonna plug the drain?
just with a plumbing,
The drain's pretty big.
yeah, but it goes down in, the drain is about that big and it funnels down into a 4-inch PVC.
Yeah, a 4-inch plug.
Yeah, it's just a plumbing plug. They make a plug for pressure testing. About any plumber could probably do it.
But that was what his assessment at that point, and he will send us one.
Well, and he was down there pressure testing that drain last year. Because had a snorkel gear before he was fixing the drain. He was down there pressure testing the drain and all of the equipment already too, at that time.
Because he did pressure test the skimmers.
Because he was down there for quite some time with his scuba equipment.
Anyway, that's on the pool.
Okay. So that leaves me to believe basically with the, Nicole looked at, we were at the conference, Nicole looked at a cement
Oh, yeah,
Cement.
there's cement patching
patch
for pools.
for the pools.
And, yeah, I don't have the magazine with me, but you can order it. It looked like what would be perfect for us, if the drain is like not leaking the water.
Right.
So our first order of business would be to just to get down there, get it cleaned out, figure out what we need to do, get it tested, and then go from there and see if what they're buying the chemical, or not chemicals, but buying the paint and all that
Right.
would be next.
Yep.
And patching.
There's
Is
another
this all
kind
in the
of,
budget?
there's another kind of paint
Yes.
that's probably a
No, it's not.
urethane, but I'll get that information for you too. It's a thixotropic, you can mix it thick and paint it on real thick. So it's supposed to be
Like a sealant.
like a sealant, but then you can apply coat on top of coat, and you can color the last coat if you want to. But it's supposed to be, it's marketed as a pool repair. So I'll print out that information and get it to you guys to consider that also.
Okay, thank you.
And I haven't seen any reviews on it. I'll try and find some reviews, see what people say about it that have used it. But then we'll at least have the information we can get.
Sounds good.
How much is in the budget for the pool for this year? And I'd like to see the budget.
You can request that information from the
I'll
clerk.
do that.
Okay, as far as tractor update.
Got fixed. It got fixed. That's what I know. It got fixed. I let the man in the building and he fixed it.
Yes, the tractor's up and going.
Can that be utilized to lift heavy items into the dumpsters?
As long as, yeah, one of the city guys do it. Yeah.
If you can.
So if stuff's there,
Overly heavy,
they
yeah.
put theirs, they
or-
can use it to put it in the dumpsters, it'd be
Yeah.
less stressful for everybody.
As long as whoever's doing it's on city insurance, it doesn't matter.
Huh?
As long as whoever's doing it's on the city insurance, doesn't matter.
Yep.
Because we were gonna have to use the skid steer or the backhoe to crunch down some appliances to fit into the bin, so.
I should just bash into them. Demolition derby.
With-
You know?
Maybe we could have a contest on that. They
That's
could
a
slam
silly
them with
could
a
use her.
hammer.
$5 a swing,
Yeah, there you go.
fundraiser.
There you go.
Cute.
Well, they do it with old cars.
Yeah.
So, we got plenty of those.
So, the truck update, I contacted F&F Repair today and his phone was busy. So, then it was after 5 at that point in time, so didn't answer it. But we know that the truck is actually in the shop and being looked at, so that's been hauled off and ready to go. Hopefully it'll be ready for us by city cleanup. Citywide cleanup, I kind of touched on that already. New business. New business, we have a dog park. Just want to put a feeler out.
Okay. I serve on the board of Helping Hands Humane Society in Topeka, Kansas.
I told him.
And I'm telling you what,
Give
how
Rose a
many, I
ball.
would like people to raise their hands who are current on vaccines on their pets.
I don't have a pet.
Me neither.
I got coons.
And they're
I
not
got
gonna-
one too, he
There are
sits
a lot
on
of
my
rules
porch
and
at night.
regs and documentation on that. Spay neuter, non-aggressive. I mean, it is, you just don't go and put up a fence and say,
Right.
let them run wild.
I told him to ask you because
And
you
who's gonna be the
know.
pooper scoopers?
Not me.
Yeah, I just,
Yeah, how did that?
it's through, I think through the Kansas Department of Agriculture that they will come out and they will do that, but it's
But you have to
detailed.
follow rules
Oh
and
my
regs for
goodness.
that.
And where are you thinking about this park?
Just in the back side of the park.
On the backside of City Park?
Where
Which the
children
back-
play?
Which is the back side?
On the back of the
Is that
side.
the east
Yes.
side?
Yes.
Where
towards-
children play?
No,
No.
not where the
No, not where
kids
they play.
Well, it's the same thing, it's all right there.
No, there's in four corners.
Well,
Is
the,
this where they
the
go
dog
on
like
park
the-
in Topeka is in the city, is in the park.
I assume a dog park you're talking about would be, have a separate fenced in area?
Yeah, it's all enclosed, but yeah,
But we
I
can't
really
do anything about our streets, and we can't do, and we're worried about a dog park.
No, it's just a thought.
Yeah.
What
I was looking through her
happens-
book and she found things for dog parks, so we're.
Well,
The
what
dogs run wild around
happens
here
if two
anyway.
dogs get into it and kill one?
It's a dead dog.
But is there, who has to pay for
Well, and that happened in.
Well, I said I'm putting out feelers. I'm asking
So
if it's
there's
anything anybody's
high
interested
insurance
in.
costs.
No,
Is there,
Well, I don't
It's
see
a-
this town being a dog park kind of town.
No,
No.
I,
I always hear we don't have enough kids and we don't have this, but we got more animals than we got kids, so what's the difference?
are you gonna take all the cats over there?
You
Find a
know,
cat
what
park.
would be nice
Or
is
coon park.
a dog and pet, or dog and cat vaccination clinic
Yes.
once a
That's
year.
what-
And
That
neutering.
would be awesome.
and what you
Neutering
can
and
do is
spay.
go through Kansas State University, they have a mobile unit. And the city needs to contact them. They went as far as Salina, and what they will do is they will do, no cost, vaccinations, and they'll do spay neuter as well. But they bring their mobile unit out, they bring their veterinary students, I think, and there's the instructor there, and they actually do this. But you have to provide housing, meals, and all of that, and I think people can do that. But that would be excellent, because there is and that you might talk to them about spay neuter. We have a lot of feral cats here where they can trap, they can do vaccinations and spay neuter, and then they will notch the ear, the left ear. So, because those are never going to be house cats. That's
Right.
part of a feral cat colony, and you need those, but you don't need them reproducing again and again and again and again, and not being responsible pet owners by getting them spay and neuter.
So you contact
Kansas
K-State?
State University and see if the mobile unit will come out.
And even a lot of
That'd be
local
worthwhile.
vets will come out for it.
My aunt volunteers for that in Wichita. She's a registered nurse, and she
Yeah,
to
I
do
just
this spay and
saw,
neutering.
was it somewhere around here? I think a vet from Dighton or Utica or something.
Plainville
They'll just
does
come
it.
for like local vet. They just come for the morning, set up in the back of the fire station,
And
and at
didn't,
the end you could collect cat tags and dog tags as
We
well.
have to have a dog pet, like somewhere to house them if we would ever catch them. We have to do that.
Oh, a dog
Yeah.
pound.
You'd be surprised.
And I'm not watching dogs.
You'd be surprised at the houses I'd knocked on.
Told you more dogs
Scared
than
me.
kids.
And there's more than one dog in some of the houses.
Some of these people
I
need
got
support.
3.
In your house?
Yes, I do.
Oh my gosh.
Shelley Ogres, I think, the vet used to do that, didn't she?
She might.
She
might
did
have.
Yes.
years ago.
Yes.
When she and her husband.
And
Just
if
gotta
you
call
can
and
get a
ask.
nominal cost,
Yeah, we
it's
might call and
expensive.
ask local vets if they'd consider
For
coming out for a
reselling.
day.
Yeah, because I think Sandra's, her just had a bunch of litter, didn't they?
They did?
What, there was.
There's a couple of them, yeah, I mean, there's,
It's expensive to
Yeah.
have a pet.
I know when
They're
I
all
went
over.
Yes,
to
it
the
is.
to the vet clinic after being in Solomon all those years, going to the vet clinic. How much is the vaccination? I was used to the $20, $20.
And that would be a
It's
real
not bad
service to
anymore.
people. I think that's number one.
Yeah,
And
'cause
then
we're-
maybe a dog park, because
I
they don't be
would go to
vaccinated playing in the dog park.
There again, you could collect
Well,
Yeah,
it brought
licenses
up,
at the end of the line.
the dog park brought up some other ideas, so it was a good deal.
Okay, next we have the broken fence pole in the park.
The bent one,
It's a big
I
opportunity.
think that could be straightened out with the tractor.
And they've been after
I
me.
kind of looked at that today and I kind of wondered if we couldn't do
Yeah,
something
you
like
just
that.
It's at the park,
the
like
park.
where the gate, like,
I
it's on
was
the
just subbing
north.
people and-
It's what the gate
With the
can
gate, like
next
the gate that
to.
opens
In
and
fact, you could
closes.
probably put the bucket of the Bobcat up against it and just push it back up straight.
Like right where it burned, you know, like that, right there.
I'd like to know real quick on that, park, the McCracken sign. I know it's kind of halfway done every year. You know, we started it a couple of years ago, putting some plants out there, but, are you guys okay if we go in, trim all that back and actually beautify that this year since water is right
That'd
there?
be a great idea.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful.
And Ron, thanks for keeping up with this. sign.
Yeah.
If you have something, let him know.
Yeah, because I
He, I
have to
think he
scramble to find something to put on there.
Oh, on the,
like
on the
to
sign up there? Okay.
Especially with
I just went
grandchildren.
down the other day and talked and did you let it roll all over. You know what we might do? Start putting people's birthdays.
Take you 5 seconds.
It will take 5 seconds.
If you want to share
Get it
them.
from Shirley and Carolyn. I need to tell them too, they didn't have.
Paul's gonna grab some papers on housing
told
for
them about Chase and Courtney's, their first year anniversary was yesterday. And they all had to be put down. Those two girls, they were put sick in my living.
I can believe her. I'm the one who gives her beer on my thumb. After which time?
Are they doing anything for Memorial Day dinner? Oh, yes. And stuff?
As far as I know.
So,
Maddie.
Oh, nice.
No,
Carrie.
yes.
got it, thank
Maddie.
you. I was gonna do that in the
I think the museum has something, and the library has something geared up for us.
Okay, but the city necessary.
She's getting paper on housing.
No, I know that they would both.
They came from that conference, that mayor's conference, they sent that to me, so I printed it
There
out.
are two main
That should be what you went to.
Yes, but there's all
It just says cities and counties with populations fewer than 60,000 can apply.
What, say it again?
Cities and counties with fewer than 60,000 can apply. It's for moderate income housing, safe affordable housing for small communities. It's an MIH program, serves the needs of moderate income households that typically don't qualify for federal housing assistance.
So what's that in?
So this is an MIH grant and loans awarded to cities and counties for down payment assistance or to develop multifamily rental units, single family, to purchase homes and infrastructure in cities, counties, and populations fewer than 60,000.
But we have to have homes too.
Is that what John Zeller did? I
It's
think-
similar to what he did. It's with
You
Kansas.
might wanna
It's with
talk to
Kansas.
Wondered
It's
about
with
that.
Kansas Housing, but it's not that. It's not the rehab. They don't do the rehab anymore. They do just the actual. They'll come in and they'll build. They'll
the
buy so much
reconstruction.
land and they'll reconstruct.
It's not China related, is it?
It's Kansas.
That doesn't mean anything.
Michigan, have you, well, this is off the subject, but Michigan's fighting big time.
Yeah, I think that's beyond that.
It's the KHA. It's the
That's a little too big for our
KHRC.
community.
I think if we could.
There's
get-
different housing. There's different grants out there with the RHID.
Have we
also for
started
rural
grant
housing.
writing?
I take another class on that in Lawrence on the 10th. That's gonna be like, what did I say? From 8 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah, it's a long one.
Yeah, I can't wait.
It's a
You know,
long
I know when we were leaving, when we left Salina, we were looking for a small town that had a pool, a library, a grocery store, and ours wouldn't have to be bused. So the banker in Solomon, actually he put like a full page ad of all the houses that were for sale, all the lots that were for sale. They sold houses like crazy that day. I realize that we don't have a lot of houses here, but we do have lots, and we do have houses that are for sale, but they're not, nobody knows they're for sale. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So maybe if you could reach out to them and say, you know, is there any way we can get the word out to get people to town? We have this beautiful lot here and a beautiful lot there. This house has a new, I'm thinking of the artist, Eric. His house was for sale. Does he have like a new roof?
He was part of that program
Yeah.
that John Z helped.
Yeah, I mean, if we could help maybe our landowners and homeowners like really market their houses instead of just a for sale sign on the porch or
Well, the
Word
problem
of
with some
mouth.
of them is you don't have a clean background too, so we're gonna
Yeah,
have to.
there's a problem.
oh, that's yeah.
A lot of
that's-
quick
yeah.
claim deeds have been done without registration.
Yeah, that's true. Never mind.
Are there some squatters in our town too? I mean,
Do you have squatters in Topeka?
because there's ownership and people don't even know their houses are or rent or anything.
Have you had anything with those?
Maybe worth it to
Yes.
form a group to look into that. You know, if there was somebody here had a house or even one of these dilapidated houses, you know, grants like this would encourage buyers to come in and buy those dilapidated places, level them off, and then apply for these grants to help rehabilitate the
You know,
the infrastructure and then, and build a new house.
If they would actually.
Kathy and
build
I
it.
and Dan, when we
Well,
were starting
You
that,
know,
we
these grants are for new structures.
when we started all that, what had happened is we had to send out all those letters. Then it has to go to your attorney. Then it has to go to the courtroom, and then it has to go before the judge. Those people want to sell their property and/or are waiting for it to be dumped on the city is what they're waiting. And then the city is gonna have to clean them up and put them out. So you don't have very many options. These people don't want this crap.
So maybe.
The only one that wanted it was a young man that was over here, and his father came here, in that little yellow house behind, next to Glenn Fonesteel's house. And he came here and thought, we can salvage this thing. Well, since then, we've had 200-mile-an-hour plus winds, and trees are now on top of that house. So I'm sure if the commission would probably talk to him and say, you're going to be fined, then they'd probably let go of that property, which I know for a fact the guys from New York are interested in. So, again, the word has to get out. If we got properties for sale, the Mustang's supposedly for sale, others are for sale. I think Flax used to be for sale, but there's no way anybody could touch that because that's the title's not clear and everything's a mess on it,
So it might
Is
be
that Alan
advantageous
Pinker's
for
That's
city
Flax,
to
no, over here.
Pinkham.
to help
over by
facilitate
Glen
those
Pond.
Yes,
sales.
that's exactly who it is. And he's a very nice man, but his son owns it because it was the grandma's.
Yeah,
She
it
gave
was-
it to the grandson.
Lotus.
Yep, it was Lonis, she
Yes.
went to Heidi Luann's mom, Grace Lonis.
But all those documents are somewhere.
And that was Everett and Sam's.
So
And again,
maybe a couple.
You gotta have an attorney.
Maybe a
you
month
gotta
or
have a
two from
court.
now, we could maybe look at or consider putting a group together or a person as a sort of a liaison to rotate some of these properties into new owners. If you run into a dead end where we can't do anything with that, it's fine, we'll go to the next ones and try to rotate these properties, try to get them sold for the owners, try to get them purchased by people that'll improve them and maybe move here, either clean the property up. These grants will help install new infrastructure and build new homes on them. So for buyers, if there was somebody here in town, maybe somebody connected to the city, maybe a subcommittee of some sort, a liaison that kind of worked between buyers and sellers and help facilitate these grants, it would be a good thing for McCracken.
What
So
about,
maybe we look at that in a month or next month or something.
did you find it that there was money available
For what?
for grants?
Yeah, there's money available for
Right.
housing, but the city has to apply for it.
Right.
When Yes, Kathy?
Yeah. How many years, let's say this house over here is burnt now, has the woman even seen it?
Yes.
A picture of it?
A year ago, she was.
She has?
She was there rifling
there.
through
I was
stuff.
gonna say, she was here last summer.
Okay, so just like you said by the,
Why would they not want it cleaned up?
She wants to sell the property.
well, my point
How's
is,
she gonna
Her
sell
husband-
show them
her son- her
pictures,
son-
show them
her son, Her
pictures,
brother doesn't want
and
to
then
sell
they
the
can
property.
see how bad it is.
It's a family.
Well, you know what, the city has already sent out notices that that property is completely against every ordinance that we've created and that was created before Jackie Kennedy, way before that. And every one of them have been just excused because you don't have an actual attorney and a court of law. That's all you need to get this done, guys, that's all you
That's
need.
what we're working on.
You're not.
How are we
You
not?
don't have an attorney.
We put an ordinance in place for a charter ordinance to be able to hire a city attorney.
Okay,
It's in the publications right now.
yep.
So once that's done,
Where's your code enforcer? You should have had them already lining up and getting them. We don't have a code enforcer. Frank is a freaking felon. Have you looked at that?
he's not a felon.
Oh, yes, sir, he is. You need to look it up. Yes, sir.
Did you vet him?
The ordinances
They did not
are
fit.
in the process, but we should be advertising right now and searching out a code enforcer or whatever you want to call it, and a city attorney.
Yeah.
We should start looking right now, because
Yeah, I agree.
when
You need to be ready for
in
court.
60 days or so, when we are able to hire these guys, we should have applicants ready
You
to
said that's
go.
been how long?
It was in the paper last week, the 19th.
The
was the
19th.
last
And it has to wait 61 days.
Is that the second time it has been run? Okay.
So it's not gonna happen this month, it's not. gonna
31
happen
days
next month.
after you run it.
But we should
61
start,
days,
we
yeah.
should start soliciting for these positions.
Absolutely.
Right now, or at least within the next 30 days, is what I'm saying,
We did Frank's
is
resign.
what I'm suggesting.
He did resign. We don't even have a written resignation from Frank.
You don't need
I
one.
don't think you need one. I think
You don't need one, he left
stay.
town.
Yeah, but the statement was made.
He left town, completely moved away.
So we could have been working on that.
Yeah.
Working.
sooner.
No, he wasn't.
Some regional firefighters, he was working.
No, he wasn't.
Well, you hired him in February, and he's
He's
not
never
done
been seen.
anything.
Never been seen.
So, move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on.
We'll move on. Here we go. So, new business. This ordinance that creates the McCracken a city beautification advisory board for McCracken. That was done by William Greenway back in 2013 of 02.
What? 2013. There's a-
Yeah, it's actually
ordinance.
the ordinance, yes. Yeah. So, in the ordinance, it states that there's a subcommittee to the city. However, I'm being told that Sue Davis's McCracken Beautification was changed to McCracken Pride, and City of McCracken Pride.
No, no,
and now City-
absolutely
And
incorrect.
now City of McCracken
Absolutely
Beautification.
incorrect. We started an absolute nonprofit in March of this year with City of McCracken Pride. Had nothing to do with the city, period. The City of McCracken Pride had been obviously misconstrued and taken a different direction. So we as a committee on McCracken Pride took it to the voters and we all agreed on renaming it City of McCracken Beautification, and it is a legal non-profit association through the state of Kansas. You can look it up.
And as you said,
It's-
since 1982.
And it has its own
we were
EIN
never
number.
under Pride. Because you said the last time it was registered was
2012.
1982.
Therefore, it was non-existent.
So my question is, was there funds raised under the McCracken beautification?
No idea, that was
Between
2012.
now and 2020, now and 2013.
I'd have to go back and there should be, didn't you say there was a whole accounting of everything with the crack
The ones from
beautification?
Carol. The ones Sue gave Carol. Do you have any after Debbie?
I haven't looked at them. You've looked at them?
Are they in your fund account?
No.
Okay, they should be in her fund account.
Where is
All
it?
the
No.
funds, all the funds that were
That
given-
was distributed on Debbie Shookman herself, on her own social security
I
number.
thought that was the
Has
fourth one.
nothing to do with the city.
That's the
Nothing.
problem. That's the problem, though. The problem is,
You are not getting those funds, Austin McGahey. You're not
that's
doing
not
it.
who are you?
So this is where you need
Who
your
are you?
attorney
Yeah,
sitting
this
right
is
there
exactly where it
beside
is.
you, so he can guide you in
Yes.
this.
Who is the actual members of this committee?
In the beginning,
No, now.
That would be Rose and I.
there'd be 14 members.
There's
In
14 members,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So there won't be more than 15.
I don't know, Austin.
Do you have a list of them?
I do.
Because according
But
to
it
the
has nothing
ordinance,
to do with you.
because according to the ordinance, they have to be approved by the board.
But they're not.
Again,
I'm
it
not
doesn't have
under-
anything to do with you. It's a nonprofit.
It
We
does.
do not have to be accepted through you at
It is
all.
a subcommittee to the city.
No, it's
By this
not.
ordinance.
No, it's not.
How
You
is
need
it
to go
not?
back to your attorney.
If you
Well, right
change,
now, you need to have an attorney address that and then get back with us.
And I'll have our attorney talk to
That's
if
right.
you
your
have,
attorney
if you
in
have,
Topeka. Are you still using?
if you
He's
have,
not, he has not been reappointed to this city, therefore he is
I'm
not.
asking, if you have went from Debbie Shookman taking over Sue Davis's accounts. When they closed those accounts,
No, they were never closed.
they were never closed, okay? So then why are they not, if they were never closed and we were receiving the fund accounting on those at that time, and it was in our budget, and we had a beautification fund at that time. That was
I'd
set
have
up
to
per
see
this
that. I
ordinance.
don't think that was,
We have them. Carol Weber had them. She was getting them, and we
Where
have
are they?
documentation.
where are
I
they?
have them, I mean,
I'd like to, yeah, just
When you planted the
present
trees,
those.
all of that. All that was given to the city.
Just present
Because they're a
that
subcommittee
me.
to the city.
And I'll show it to our attorney.
The Pride has its own attorney.
Really? We're not Pride.
We're not pride.
Okay, the beautification has its own attorney.
Well, Austin, I tell you, we'll discuss it at a different time.
No, we won't. I'll discuss it in this public meeting, where I have the right to discuss it.
And so do we.
but we have the right not to answer your question too.
That's right.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I will.
So
Have you read the ordinance?
Well, I've never seen the ordinance, Austin, so no, I have not.
Are those accounts closed? Those old
No, they're
accounts?
not.
No, they're not.
Because we
That's
have-
what the question is. Do we
And
need
there's not
beautifi-
accounts.
Do we need a
It's
McCracken
one account.
beautification committee is my question.
I
Or
don't-
do they plan to go on their own?
They plan to go on their own.
Okay.
No, we are
So
on
then,
our own. We
so
have
if they
our own
plan to go
EIN
on their
number.
own, so if they plan to go on their own, any funds between 2013 and now are subject to the city.
No.
I would leave that to the attorneys,
Yeah, I'll talk to.
because I don't know.
I would talk to him.
I would let
Because
them-
they can go on their own, that's fine. All we have to do is make a motion to
Well, the account should be,
repeal the ordinance.
the account should be rectified in some fashion and the ordinance should be repealed, yes. But I would let the lawyers review it.
I have a question. If that's like subject to the city, why isn't the golf course then? Why don't you guys have to approve the golf course members, like their board?
Because they're a private
We-
entity.
How's that a private, it's just, that's actually
They
the
don't
city
have an
golf course.
organization.
They have their own.
This is
EIN
exactly
number.
what you need an actual
I'm just
attorney.
asking you a serious question.
Does the golf course have their own EIN number?
Yes, now they do.
They're completely separate.
Right, as,
But wouldn't that be?
This is the only thing that ties the beautification to the
So
city.
in other
That's
words,
why I'm
we
trying
just
to.
basically
well,
take
make
the
a
one that
copy
we
of
have
that for
does
me,
not have
so I
a
have it.
Yeah, why don't
Please.
you do that and have both of them look at it and if
Because
they
if
do
we don't,
need to come forward.
if we do need to change something, I mean, it can be changed. But if we don't need to have the advisory board, we can repeal the ordinance.
That'd
We
be,
probably ought to just repeal it.
that's kind of where I would go with it. I'd just repeal it. Be done.
But that doesn't change the way the funds are set up. It still takes Nicole's account out.
What does it have to do with?
She don't have the funds.
You didn't do
Yeah,
anything
the
with,
funds
we
aren't
have,
in our list there.
yeah, hasn't been in years, so that is completely nullified. You probably have to look at statute of limitations
This
even.
never ran through financial.
Never ran through the financial
Never ran
system,
through
that's
the
right.
financial
That's
side
right.
of it.
It was back
Thank
when
you,
Carol
Norma.
was here. Carol kept accounting of that.
You are correct, I do remember because she did pay out of it, but obviously,
And she received the checks.
that kind of dissipated, I would say.
It says right here, the said committee shall be empowered to receive and expend contributions and donations to the said committee. There is to be hereby created within the accounting system, within the city of McCracken, a fund designated as the McCracken Beautification
And I
Fund.
remember when this was made. I did. Carol was the one on it, and there was some real question on the funds, and so they ran it through, and Carol did write the stuff out. But in the course of that, what I'm saying is, obviously, that was not kept up, and that was not kept through the financials. We can't pull it.
I'm glad
I
it's,
don't think legally we can pull that.
I'm glad it's come
Right.
to your attention. I think it sounds like a lot of things in McCracken that seem to just fade away into the fog and fall through the cracks and disappear, and then nobody talks about it for years, and then suddenly it.
But the committee, not the city, did the
what-
element of,
whatever it is.
gathering money and all of that had nothing to do with the city.
It's like a lot of things.
The fall festivals, fundraisers, thank you, and all that.
It's like a
So,
lot of things that just
Yeah.
kind of go gray for a while,
Yeah,
and
then
then when
they
we
come
when
back
we
and show
do-
their
Well, it
ugly face.
actually
Yeah.
kind of fell through because the beautification kind of dissipated.
That's right.
Well,
In
because
technicality.
people were not there
Right.
working on it.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's
And they
resolve.
did
We're not
change
there to
that
help.
Let's
several
resolve
times.
the issue, but I would give it to
And
the
nullify the
lawyers.
ordinance.
Yeah, let's just check it out to make sure, but I'm thinking that we probably should just redo it, but ask him first. But as far as funds wise, I think that's just fell through the cracks with the transfer of.
All we
Well, that's what
wanna
I
do
think,
is
too.
beautify McCracken.
Yeah, but now it's not even,
Well, it's not,
now it has absolutely nothing to do with the city because it's all
But the
been,
bottom line, the mission is to improve.
and that has never received
I'm not
annual
trying
reports. You
to-
haven't done
No,
annual
that should
reports,
be
none
what
of
it
that
should be.
for.
Well, it
that's
should be
10
what its
years.
name is.
And as you drive into town, it was the hard work of Debbie Shookman, myself, and Lynette Dornbos.
That's
And
right.
you see those beautiful monuments that are there. That was 3 people that, well, 2 that didn't even live here full-time.
That's right.
So the bottom line is, I have no ulterior motive except to make McCracken beautiful again. So if I have to, do that, just give me a copy of that, and I'll present it to my attorney
just don't present it to Tony.
to the beautification. I beg your
Just do
pardon.
not present it to Tony. Because if it goes to litigation, it has to go to Tony. So don't present it to
Or
Tony.
you're gonna have to pay for it to go elsewhere.
Well,
I don't see it going to litigation. We get answers from
Yeah.
the lawyers, and then we repeal the ordinance. And
You gotta have an attorney first.
I'm just saying, that's what I was told.
And you don't have an
Town
attorney.
Yeah, I don't think it's going there. Oops.
all righty.
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
All right,
Well, second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Move the second to adjourn the meeting.